you doing, guys? My name's Jim McKay, owner of Lakeside Speed Shine. This is a 66 Nova that we built. Just going to walk you through it, kind of show you some of the special features that we've done on it. So basically the car was brought to us by a previous customer that brought a friend to him, to our shop. He had a Nova himself, we had built for him. His customer got interested in cars. He had never owned a muscle car before. Previous customer took him down, showed him a couple parts, went to TCI, actually got him excited on the build, mainly just because he saw all the parts and everything else that everybody was doing on Novas. So ultimately the car was bought in Kansas. It's an SS car, original SS 66 car. It literally got drug out of a cornfield in Kansas. And when it got brought to us, it came out on some 2x4s in the back of a trailer. No suspension underneath it, no glass in it, very little body panels on the car. For the motor package, being that this was his first hot rod, I didn't want to give him something that was going to be difficult to start, difficult to operate, finicky, typical hot rod motor. I wanted to go something dependable, turnkey, start over. I went to Colby at Turnkey Engine Supply, ordered us an LS1, really simple package, nice 4L65E transmission, got that started. As with every car, once the snowball started, we took off into turning into, well, let's make it a little bit faster, let's make it a little bit louder, let's make it a little bit more exciting. So that's where Magnuson came in. We were able to put a nice new Magnuson supercharger on the motor, gained ourselves a couple extra horsepower and a whole lot more miles per ride. It was dynoed at the EFI store in Lake Havasu City, and we were right at 500. So basically the suspension on this car from TCI, we went through and we got their custom IFS system and their complete 4-link assembly with the Ritec shockwaves, AccuAir E-level system to control the air. Gives this thing an absolute butter ride, still has the stability, and you can take the car to the track any day you like. The car drives an absolute dream at this point. Runs down the highway at 80 miles an hour at 1700 RPM, and I can't wait to drive this car every time I start it up. So stopping power, obviously, once we got to the horsepower situation figured out, we went to stopping power. And my first choice is to go to Willwood. This system, we went to the 14-inch rotor, 6-piston caliper in the front, also a 14-inch rotor in the rear with 4-piston caliper. With their manual master cylinder, we created all our own stainless lines. Has absolutely the best stopping power, best pedal feel without having any spongy power feel to it. Personally, I like the manual feel of brakes without having a power booster attached to them. Basically the innovators in braking technology. I wouldn't use anything else. Every car in my shop has Willwoods bolted on it. So the rear end of the car has got a Curry 9-inch, narrowed to fit the car, obviously to fit the big wheels and tires. It's got an Eaton 2-track with a 389 gear set. So we went ahead to complete suspension body package. We did mini tubs from Detroit Speed, get the clearance that we needed to run the 315 rear tire under it. No issues. As low as we want to run the car drives great. My wheel of choice is always a Budnik. I've been a fan of their wheels since before I was building cars, and I'll probably still continue to do that afterwards. These are 19s and 20s. We had them done in a ceramic finish on the wheel face with a polished lip. We did hand-cooked tires on this one. I think a 235, 35, 19s in the front, 315, 30, 20 in the rear. Well, the paint and body was definitely one of the major undertakings of this car from the way it got to us. We took it, media blasted the car. We were able to determine what needed to be replaced, what we could save, which ultimately we put new quarter panels, basically complete new firewall, new lower floors, new trunk floors, new front fenders, new hood, new deck lid. Basically everything that wasn't welded on the car plus some of the actual welded parts too. We are able to do the can dig it flush door handles. That was one of the nice little features. I got rid of the cowl vents because there's really no use for them once we closed everything up and put the vintage air systems in the car. Smoothed and narrowed the bumpers, shaved all the bumper bolts, had the bumpers all replated. Everything else, parts were all come from Classic Industries, OER. Got the grill, we got all the front bezels, everything was from OER. We did Fezzler taillights, which is the LED system. So along with the TCI suspension components, the Ritec shockwaves, we went with the AccuAir E-level system. It's an auto lift. As soon as you start the car, goes right to ride height, drives everywhere, clears everything, misses the speed bumps, still has a nice stance to the car. Obviously the adjustability makes it really easy for us to make it look really nice sitting at the shows, and I can crank it all the way up and put it in the trailer without worrying about scratching the nice pretty paint on the bottom. The cherry on top of this car is obviously the red leather interior. We wanted to go a step above any muscle car that I've truly ever seen as far as having the plush interior of a modern supercar. I wanted the European feel to the car. My customer tends to like the European flair of having push-button start, paddle shifters, touchscreen navigation, air rides all controlled on the navigation, all running through an iPad system. Controls everything on the car, air ride, navigation, audio. We went with Vintage Air's Gen 4 AC system. Obviously we completed it with a Budnik steering wheel. Mark did an amazing job half wrapping the steering wheel to match the interior with the red and the black. They put Lexus seats in the car, all power. The thing's got so many features, I'll probably forget half of them. It was what he did. The LED lighting, the ambient lights that he set up in the car. You got a Dakota digital dash. It matches perfectly in there. He leather wrapped all the dash pad. The trunk is another piece that completes the puzzle of this car. It's nothing short of a masterpiece in my opinion. He did an amazing job. So basically our plans for the car, I've got about 500 miles on the car at this point, just shaking out the bugs, making sure everything's good before I deliver to the customer. Really hoping he's going to go out and put some miles on it the next month or two. Our goal is to hit all of the West Coast Series Good Guys shows with the car and do a lot of driving in between. What we're hoping to do with this car is use it as a showcase for what we do at our shop. We build everything from full track cars to complete show cars and everything in between, but majority I like to focus on drivers. I want cars that my customers aren't scared to jump in and take across the country if they feel like taking it across the country. You can find us on social media at Lakeside Speed Shine on Instagram, or you can always contact us in shop. We're in Lake Havasu City, Arizona.